Kelce gives a little push and comes back with it right here. Kelce gives a little push and comes back with it.
What formation is that? Got the first down, though. Damn, that. Hey, that. Hey.
Dang, that slap was aggressive. Penalty.
Hey, someone get an ID on Buddy right here. Thick nigga right here. He just smacked the shit out of Travis Kelce.
The incident occurred after a play where Kelce had been blocking Tart, who then took an open hand swipe at Kelce's helmet.
You're going to end up with the Swifties in your DMs. Can't believe you put your hands on Travis like that.
Leading to an unnecessary roughness penalty against the Chargers. Personally, I'm kind of sick of Travis Kelce.
Taylor's husband. Oh my God. Get this thug out the league.
Travis Kelce has faced some tough opponents in his career, but what happened in Brazil left fans stunned for reasons no one expected. In a game that was supposed to showcase football at its finest, Kelce suddenly found himself at the center of a clash that had nothing to do with touchdowns or tackles. One heated moment on the field turned into a headline-grabbing controversy, and before the night was over, the drama had spread far beyond the NFL. What made this incident explode wasn't just the slap that everyone saw replayed on social media, it was the defiant message that came after. A message that took aim not only at Kelce, but also at Taylor Swift and her millions of loyal fans. And as the story kept growing, it became clear that this was about more than a single play. This was personal, it was public, and it was the kind of controversy that guaranteed everyone would be talking about it for weeks. It all unfolded on September 5th during the NFL's big international showcase in São Paulo, Brazil, where the Chargers and Chiefs were locked in a tight battle. Midway through the third quarter, tensions boiled over when Travis Kelce made contact with Chargers defensive tackle Teair Tart. What started as a routine play quickly turned into something far more explosive. Kelce gave Tart a shove, and without hesitation, Tart fired back with an open-hand slap right across Kelce's face. The crowd gasped, players surrounded the scene, and cameras captured every second of the altercation. Officials immediately flagged Tart for unnecessary roughness, but in a decision that divided fans, they stopped short of ejecting him. The explanation was that it was an open palm, not a closed fist, a technicality that only fueled the outrage. Within minutes, clips of the slap spread online like wildfire, sparking heated debates across social media. Chiefs fans were furious, calling it blatant disrespect. Swifties, who've been watching Kelce closely ever since his relationship with Taylor Swift took over headlines, were even more outraged. To them, this wasn't just a penalty on the field, it felt like a personal insult that demanded consequences. What really sent this controversy into overdrive wasn't just the slap. It was what came after. Most players, when caught in the middle of a heated moment, try to smooth things over with the press or at least downplay the situation. Teair Tart did the exact opposite. Hours after the Chargers' narrow 27-21 victory over the Chiefs, instead of apologizing, he went on Instagram and delivered a message that many fans interpreted as a direct shot not only at Travis Kelce, but also at Taylor Swift herself. His post read, "I'm too swift with it even in Brazil. Not all heroes wear capes." That phrase instantly lit up social media. The use of the word Swift didn't feel accidental, and Swifties around the world took it as a deliberate jab, a taunt aimed squarely at their idol through Kelce. For many, it crossed the line from competitive fire to personal insult. Thousands of comments poured in, with Chiefs fans demanding a harsher penalty from the NFL and Swifties blasting Tart for disrespecting Taylor. But Tart didn't back down, and that refusal only fanned the flames. His confidence, or arrogance depending on which side you were on, turned a tense football scuffle into a full-blown cultural storm. Suddenly, it wasn't just about one play in Brazil, it was about pride, fandoms, and whether or not the NFL would tolerate that kind of behavior. And if Tart was trying to make himself the villain of the story, he succeeded. Because now the spotlight wasn't just on the game, it was on him, and on the defiant message he delivered for the world to see. If fans thought Tart's Instagram message was the end of it, they were in for a surprise, because he wasn't done making his point. Instead of letting the storm die down, Tart poured gasoline on the fire by mocking the situation in a way that went viral almost instantly. He shared a clip from the legendary Chappelle's Show sketch, the one where Rick James famously slaps Charlie Murphy and declares, "I'm Rick James." With laughing emojis plastered across his post, Tart made it crystal clear that he wasn't ashamed of what happened on the field. He was celebrating it. The timing of the post, so soon after the slap in Brazil, made it feel like he was reliving the moment with pride, almost daring fans to stay mad at him. And they did. Chiefs supporters called it disrespectful, Swifties labeled it childish, but meme culture did what it always does, ran with it. The slap quickly became a trending GIF. Edits popped up across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and suddenly Tart's move wasn't just an NFL headline, it was a pop culture talking point. Some fans even argued that by leaning into the jokes, Tart was turning himself into a character people couldn't stop talking about. But to Kelce's supporters, this wasn't comedy, it was a calculated move to embarrass their star player. By turning a heated altercation into a viral meme, Tart blurred the line between competitive sports and entertainment spectacle, and in doing so, he made sure this controversy had a life of its own long after the game ended. Lost in all the chaos of the slap and the social media storm was the fact that Teair Tart actually had one of his stronger games as a Charger. On paper, his stats weren't jaw-dropping, 2 passes defended and a single tackle, but in the context of the matchup, they mattered. Those deflections disrupted Patrick Mahomes' rhythm and gave the Chargers' defense crucial stops at a time when momentum could have easily swung back to Kansas City. More importantly, the Chargers snapped a painful 7-game losing streak to their divisional rivals, a psychological hurdle that had been hanging over the franchise for years. And yet, none of that seemed to matter in the aftermath. Headlines weren't about Tart's contributions to the victory, they were about the slap. Debate exploded online. Did Tart's performance prove his aggression was part of a competitive edge, or did the incident overshadow everything else? Chiefs fans claimed the NFL went soft by letting him stay in the game, arguing that an ejection could have changed the outcome. Neutral fans countered that this is football, a sport built on physicality and raw emotion, and sometimes tempers flare. Even sports analysts on TV seemed divided. Was Tart a reckless player who crossed the line, or a defensive enforcer who gave his team exactly what they needed? The conversation blurred the lines between athletic performance and dramatic theater, with Tart positioned right in the middle. And in the end, the slap became the symbol of the night, not the Chargers' hard-fought win. What made this incident explode beyond the football world was the undeniable shadow of Taylor Swift. Ever since her relationship with Travis Kelce became public, Swift has been a constant presence around Chiefs games, turning stadiums into part concert, part sporting event spectacles. So, when Tart dropped his Instagram post with the phrase, "I'm too Swift with it," fans knew immediately what he was doing. It wasn't just a clever play on words, it was a direct nod to the biggest pop star in the world, and that changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just a football rivalry, it became a crossover event between sports culture and pop culture. Swift's fan base, known for its passion and online presence, felt personally attacked, interpreting Tart's words as a swipe at their idol. Swifties flooded Tart's social media with angry comments, calling him disrespectful and demanding he apologize not only to Kelce, but to Taylor herself. NFL insiders pointed out that dragging Swift into the drama made it headline news on outlets that normally wouldn't cover mid-season football controversies. Morning talk shows, entertainment blogs, and even international outlets ran with the story. Not because of the AFC West implications, but because of the Taylor Swift connection. For Swift's supporters, it wasn't about whether the slap was part of the game. It was about someone mocking their icon, and that made the moment feel deeply personal. And in the world of pop culture, once Swifties take notice, the conversation almost always gets bigger, louder, and harder to ignore. In a way, Tart managed to shift the spotlight entirely, making himself the villain in a drama that bridged 2 of the most loyal fan bases in America, NFL diehards and Taylor Swift's global army. And with that, the slap went from a penalty on the field to a cultural flashpoint that had both worlds colliding in a way no one saw coming. As the dust settled from the chaotic night in Brazil, one thing became clear: the story was far from over. For the Chargers, the 27-21 win wasn't just another check in the standings. It was a statement. They had finally broken their losing streak against Kansas City, and Teair Tart's fiery presence, for better or worse, became part of the reason why. But the ripple effects went beyond a single game. Fans circled one date on the calendar, December 14th, when the Chargers would travel to Arrowhead Stadium for the rematch. Suddenly, Week 15 wasn't just about playoff implications, it was about payback. Chiefs fans began buzzing about what would happen if Kelce and Tart crossed paths again, and whether the NFL would be forced to step in if tensions boiled over. analysts pointed out that if both teams stayed in contention, the matchup could decide who takes control of the AFC West, adding even more weight to the drama. But more than playoff scenarios, it was the personal rivalry that had everyone talking. Tart had thrown the first slap and doubled down with his words. Kelce, known for his fiery personality, isn't the type to let things slide. Combine that with Taylor Swift's name lingering in the background, and the stage is set for a showdown that feels bigger than football. Social media is already predicting fireworks, with fans betting on whether another altercation will break out, and others speculating how Swift might react if things get heated again. The NFL thrives on rivalries, but this one is different. It's raw, personal, and loaded with cultural weight. And by the time December rolls around, all eyes won't just be on the scoreboard, they'll be on Kelce and Tart, waiting to see if the tension finally explodes. One slap in Brazil has turned into something far bigger than a penalty flag. It's become a story that's now living at the crossroads of sports, celebrity, and fan culture. Teair Tart could have walked away from the incident quietly, but instead, he doubled down, mocked the moment, and brought Taylor Swift's name into the mix, igniting an online firestorm that refuses to die down. Travis Kelce, a two-time Super Bowl champion, suddenly finds himself caught in a feud that stretches far beyond the field, with Swifties demanding justice and NFL fans arguing over where the line between competition and disrespect should be drawn. And now, with a December rematch already looming, the slap isn't just a memory, it's a warning shot. Will Tart and Kelce clash again under the bright lights of Arrowhead Stadium? Will the NFL step in before things spiral even further? Or will this rivalry escalate into one of the most talked about moments of the season? What's certain is that this controversy has already proven it's more than just football. It's entertainment, it's spectacle, and it's the kind of drama that keeps fans glued to every update. And as the countdown to December continues, one question lingers. Was that slap just the beginning of a rivalry that could define the season, or will it explode into something even more unforgettable?